Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you gave them every part of yourself, your time, your heart, your patience, only to be met with silence, half-love, and emotional distance? Have you ever stood in front of someone, heart wide open, hoping they'd choose you, and instead, they shrugged? They acted like you'd never leave, like you were the one person they could mistreat and still expect to stick around. But now, everything's different. Now the silence they once ignored feels deafening. Now they're scrolling through your profile, rereading your old texts, asking mutual friends what you're up to. Now they care. But the sad truth? It took losing you to wake them up. They didn't care when you left because they didn't believe you actually would. They thought you were bluffing, that you'd be back, that you'd always chase. You see, when someone is used to your love being unconditional, they start treating it like it's disposable. They think kindness equals weakness. They confuse your loyalty for lack of options. But the day you finally walked away, it wasn't a game. It wasn't a strategy. It was survival. You were tired of explaining your worth. Tired of begging to be seen. You weren't angry anymore. You were exhausted. That's when you knew it was over. Quietly you left. No drama. No scenes. Just gone. And now it's hitting them like a storm they never saw coming. They're starting to realize what they had, what they took for granted. They're realizing that love like yours doesn't show up twice. That the version of you who once cried over them no longer exists. You healed. You leveled up. You stopped looking back. This video is not about revenge. It's about realization. It's about the moment they feel what you felt. It's about the emotional shift that happens when the person who didn't care suddenly starts to regret everything, when they scroll through their messages and realize the silence isn't temporary. It's permanent. You've changed and they didn't see it coming. In this video, we're breaking down 7 psychology-backed reasons why they didn't care when you left, but why your absence is haunting them now. These aren't just tips. These are moments. Moments you'll feel in your soul if you've ever loved someone who couldn't love you right. And I want you to drop this in the comments if you've been there. They didn't care when I left, but I'm never going back. Let's get into it. Number 1. They felt nothing until you were gone. It's strange how someone can get so used to your presence that they forget. It's a choice, not a guarantee. You were always there, texting back, checking in, giving your time, offering your heart, even on days when it felt heavy. You loved them with a consistency that made them believe it would never end. And in that comfort, they got careless. They ignored the little efforts. They rolled their eyes at the soft goodnights. They brushed off the way you tried to communicate, to fix things, to hold on. They confused your patience for passivity, your softness for neediness, and over time, they stopped appreciating you altogether. See, people don't always leave because they're angry. Sometimes, they leave because they've been quiet for too long. Because nothing changes. Because they're tired of being the only one trying. And that's what happened to you. You didn't leave with fire. You left with silence. You stopped begging. You stopped explaining. You stopped showing up for someone who never really showed up for you. And that's when it hit them. Not when you packed your things. Not when you blocked their number. But when days turned into weeks, and the silence wasn't just space. It was final. That's when they started scrolling through old photos. That's when they played your favorite song and felt the ache. That's when they realized you're not coming back this time. Psychologists call this emotional contrast. It's the gut punch of losing what you once had, but didn't value. Only now, the absence makes it echo louder. Your silence became the mirror they never wanted to face. Suddenly, they saw all the ways they took you for granted. All the times they thought you'd never leave. And now, they're left with nothing but memories and guilt. And you're finally at peace. Because they may have felt nothing while you were there. But now that you're gone, it's all they feel. And they'll never forget the day they realized that losing you wasn't just about losing a relationship. Number 2. They didn't notice when you needed them most. There's a moment in every relationship where the silence isn't peaceful. It's screaming. And you were in that moment, quiet but aching, smiling but slowly fading. You gave your heart in full, not because you were weak, but because you believed love meant showing up, even when they didn't deserve it. You hoped they'd notice. The shift in your voice. The sadness behind your eyes. The way your energy dimmed. But they were too busy, too distracted, or maybe too self-absorbed to care. You kept pouring from your cup, even when it was empty. You sent the good morning texts. You tried to fix the mood. You tried to be easy to love. But deep down, you were hoping they'd reach for you the way you always reached for them. They didn't. They thought you were strong, unbreakable, fine. But inside, you were tired. Tired of being the only one who cared. Tired of being in a relationship that felt like a one-sided war. You didn't ask for much. Just effort, just honesty, just someone who wouldn't make you feel like you were too much for wanting the bare minimum. And when you finally went quiet, not to punish them, but to protect yourself, they noticed. But not because they missed you. They missed what you did for them. The comfort, the validation, the effort they never had to earn. Psychologically, it's called emotional labor. You carried the weight of the relationship while they coasted on your kindness. And the worst part? They didn't realize what you were going through until your silence became the loudest thing in the room. Now they scroll through your social media, looking for signs of the old you, the one who chased, the one who waited. But that version? You buried her. And in her place, a woman who finally realized she didn't need to beg to be loved properly. They didn't lose you when you left. They lost you when you cried next to them, and they didn't even turn their head. Number 3. You were breaking inside, and they looked the other way. There was a time when you were still holding on, still hoping, still trying to convince them that you were worth staying for. You weren't asking for the world, just for them to see you, to choose you, to meet you halfway. But all they did was take. You were breaking silently, but they didn't notice. Or maybe they noticed, but they didn't care enough to ask why. Why you were quieter. Why your eyes didn't shine the same. Why the messages you used to send like clockwork now came hours later, or not at all. They thought your silence was peace, but it was exhaustion. They thought your calm meant indifference, but it was numbness. You'd already cried behind closed doors. You had already rehearsed conversations they never gave you space to have. And what hurts the most? It wasn't just that they didn't show up. It's that they expected you to still be there after all of it. They never asked how your heart was doing, but they noticed when your tone changed, when your energy shifted, when your presence started fading. That's when the panic crept in, when they realized the attention they ignored was disappearing. Psychologically, it's called emotional neglect. It's not always about what someone does, it's what they don't do. They don't ask. They don't show up. They don't care until you stop caring too. But by then, it's too late. Because your healing doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in quiet moments, when you finally let go of what was never holding you properly. They didn't lose you when they walked away. They lost you when you were still right there, begging to be seen, and they looked through you. And now, they feel your absence louder than they ever felt your presence. Because the person who used to beg for love finally gave it to themselves. Number 4, they thought you were waiting, but you were healing. They imagined you sitting by the phone, checking their stories, wondering where they were, who they were with, and if they missed you. In their mind, you were still stuck in that moment, the one where they walked away like you didn't matter. They thought you were paused, frozen in that chapter, waiting for a return that was never promised. But what they didn't realize, silence doesn't always mean pain. Sometimes it means peace, growth, rebuilding. You weren't stuck. You were rising. While they were out trying to distract themselves, you were doing the work, quietly, consistently. You cried, yes. You broke down, yes. But then you picked yourself up. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Some mornings with tears in your eyes. Some nights feeling numb. But still, you moved forward. That's the part they'll never fully understand. How your silence wasn't weakness. It was discipline. A choice to stop bleeding for someone who kept handing you the knife. They mistook your quiet for longing. But you weren't longing for them. You were remembering who you were before them. You were finding the strength to become someone new. Someone stronger. Someone wiser. Not for revenge. Not to show them what they lost. But to finally love yourself the way they never could. And now they're watching. Maybe they won't admit it. Maybe they'll pretend they don't care. but they notice. They hear about you through friends. They scroll through your pictures late at night. They remember moments you've already healed from, because now they're the ones wondering, do they miss me? Would they come back? Have they moved on? And the truth? You did miss them once, but you missed yourself more. That's what saved you. As the Stoics say, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. You didn't chase them. You chose yourself. And while they thought you were waiting, you were out there becoming everything they didn't see in you. And that realization? That's what haunts them now.